It's May 25th, 1998. We're in Indiana for pivotal Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals between the dynastic Chicago Bulls and legitimate challengers to the throne, the Indiana Pacers. See how legitimate? Only down one with 2.9 seconds to go, and the ball. With a basket here, Indiana could tie up this series. Could being the operative word, the Bulls do not plan to let that happen. Not just because they want to win, but because it's the Pacers. And I'll explain. Let's rewind. Hey, did you know Secret Base has a Patreon now? You get something new every Monday, like episodes of Pretty Good and our podcast and early releases of YouTube stuff. It's very nice, and we're very nice. And it would be very nice if you subscribed. Now, where were we? You might have noticed that the Pacers are all bald. It's not genetics, and it's not just because it looks so good. Rather, in a rally cry and show of togetherness, the 98 Pacers all shaved their heads before the playoffs. Because these playoffs are special. Yeah, they've been to the Eastern Conference Finals before, but nobody expected them to be here this year. Not that long ago, the Pacers twice knocked on the finals door, saw it open a crack, slipped their foot in, and then tried to jam the rest of their body over the threshold, to no avail. In other words, they twice in a row made it to Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals and lost. But that's okay, third time's the charm. Oh God, the charm is cursed. Throw it back in the ocean. I said throw it back in the ocean! In '96, Reggie Miller was injured during the playoffs. But what happened in '97? Rick Smits missed a lot of time with foot issues, Coach Larry Brown was on his way out, and the franchise made some bad moves before the season, which, to their credit, they tried to fix. In the summer of '96, they traded away point guard Mark Jackson, who was good at assists, but kind of slow and not a great defender. Then they went 14-16 and panicked. At the trade deadline, they got Mark Jackson back, and no hard feelings, he's their starting point guard again. Well, I mean, no hard feelings other than the pain of not making the playoffs. This season, with Jackson on board from the start, Rick Smits healthy, and rookie coach Larry Bird, the goal was merely to make the playoffs. And that seemed like a lofty goal for an aging, predictable team. Preseason forecasts had them finishing 10th. Except in Indiana. They thought making the playoffs was a reasonable goal, but they might have been biased. Or onto something? Because the Pacers finished not 10th, not 8th, but 3rd in the East. Turns out superstars make good coaches. Bird elevated Jalen Rose and Travis Best, neither of whom Larry Brown played that much. But those guys could create off the dribble, which freed up Reggie Miller from double teams, and also varied their formerly predictable offense of Miller on the outside, Smits on the inside. The Pacers got through the first 2 rounds of the playoffs with just 2 losses, which meant they were back in the Eastern Conference Finals. Hey, their opponents have a shaved head guy too. Oh, God, game over, it's Michael Jordan. Why the Pacers' show of solidarity was to all get Michael Jordan's haircut, I don't know. But the overall problem here is that Michael Jordan's Bulls are very good. They're expected to three-peat this year, especially because Coach Phil Jackson is likely leaving after this season. So it's kind of like their last dance. Misspoke. Their last chance to add to their dynasty. This season, they went 62-20 and breezed through the playoffs, although the press was searching for chinks in their armor. Yeah, they swept the first round, but one game went into overtime. So, is that anything? In round 2, they lost a home game to Charlotte by 2 points. Or, as was written in the Indiana press, Chicago struggled to dispose of Charlotte. It's a little bit about selling papers and a little bit about having hope. Larry Bird found no solace in these struggles. Because Michael Jordan was averaging 32 points a game through the first 2 rounds. Bulls are doing just fine. They did have a legitimate moment of struggle at the end of the regular season. 4th to last game, at home, a 105-114 loss to the... Oh, would you look at that? The Pacers. This was a huge mental gain for our bald buddies. And it was more than just dealing a home loss to the unbeatable team, it was how the Pacers did it. Their star outplayed Jordan. MJ shot 7 of 19 in the face of increased physicality from Indiana's defense. And he was irritated. After a hard foul from Mark Jackson in the third quarter, a 3 of 11 Jordan chucked the ball at Jackson's head and then got into it with Reggie Miller. Pretty rare to see Jordan lose his cool like that. And I imagine pretty satisfying for Indiana. So we've got ourselves a nice little rivalry for the Eastern Conference Finals. If anyone can knock off the Bulls, it's the Pacers. But tonight, where is the Pacers' starting point guard who so bothered Jordan in that regular season win? Mark Jackson, who led the league in assists last year and was third this year, who the Pacers needed so badly they tradesies backsies for him despite how humiliating that is on the bench in a crucial moment of a crucial game. Why? Well, turns out coaches with 5 rings are good coaches. Phil Jackson was like, yeah, Reggie Miller's good, Rick Smith's first year as an all-star, great. Shutting down Mark Jackson is the key. And Phil Jackson knew exactly how to do that. He put the longer, taller, heavier, stronger Scottie Pippen on Mark Jackson, who doesn't have the usual point guard quickness that could combat Pippen's defense. M. Jackson was completely shut down, as was the Pacers' offense. Indiana couldn't run their set plays, Rick Smits wasn't getting enough shots or making enough shots, and Game 1 and 2 were lost on turnovers, many of them Jackson's. And so, here in Game 4, we see backup point guard Travis Best on the floor. And if you're wondering who might be getting the ball right now, Best is, well, I don't want to say their best option because I hate wordplay, but he's the guy that's having a good game right now. This is Best's 3rd year in the league. He's been with the Pacers that whole time. His first 2 years, well, Larry Brown was not the right coach for him. His words. In his first year, Best averaged less than 10 minutes a game, and Brown was leery of his decision-making. But that offseason, Brown pushed to trade away Mark Jackson and told everyone Best was ready to run the point for a title-contending team. Tricky spot for Travis Best. And as the season played out, Best proved to be a good shooter, but he had trouble running the fast break, which was attributed to his decision-making. So they traded back for Mark Jackson and said Best needed more time learning from the veteran. Travis was shoved into a reserve shooting guard position for the rest of the season. I know none of that explains why he's in the game and should possibly get the last shot tonight. Stick with me. Larry Bird saw something different in Best than the other Larry B. Bird actually liked Best's decisions. Bird saw a point guard who, didn't work for Brown's offense. But he can break down defenses and create off the dribble. And Bird made that a new facet of the team's offense this season. In this series, Best bailed out the Pacers. In their Game 3 win, he had 11 points and played the whole 4th quarter. He's too quick for Pippen to guard, which forced Phil Jackson to play Steve Kerr against him. And Kerr couldn't get the job done. Help defense stepped in, and the 3rd-year point guard found the open man. Tonight, he's again played the whole 4th quarter, scoring 8 points in the final period thus far, including 2 clutch 3-pointers, the latter of which put the Pacers up 91-89 with 2.5 minutes to go. Indiana didn't manage to hang on to that lead, though. Down 1 with 21 seconds left, Dennis Rodman leans into a screen, and that's Pacers ball. This could have been a big deal if the Pacers had been able to capitalize on it. But they just wasted time, lost the ball, and had to foul Scottie Pippen with 4 seconds left. Then everyone got a little shovey and a little angry, which again could have really been a big deal. A technical foul or an ejection with 4 seconds left and Chicago up 1 could have decided the game. But nobody was teed up. Isaiah Thomas in the booth explained,
"Players will decide the game, not the officials, and that's the way it should be."
With a chance to extend their lead to 3, Pippen missed both foul shots. Okay, that could end up being a big deal. Because here we are, Pacers have a chance for a winning shot. Though we've talked about Travis Best, there is another strong option to receive the ball right now. Pacers' famed sharpshooter, Reggie Miller. The guy who hit 8 points in 9 seconds against the Knicks in the '95 playoffs. The guy who is the face of the franchise. The guy who is the face of the Bulls-Pacers rivalry. On the Pacers side, of course. Look how mad he made Michael Jordan in a 1993 regular season game. If you only knew Jordan from this video, you'd think he was, constantly fighting. Speaking of this year's meaningful regular season game where the Pacers got Jordan to lose his cool, just a week before that, Jordan talked a lot of shit about Miller, belittling him by calling him a woman a couple of times. Side note, should we cancel Michael Jordan? And essentially calling him a dirty player. Before the Eastern Conference Finals, Phil Jackson echoed MJ's sentiment that Miller was dirty. And Pippen didn't go quite that far, but did say Miller has a reputation as a guy who shoves coming off picks. But, come on, is that such a big deal? What's the worst that could do? Anyway, might be nice to give the ball to Miller for vengeance and drama, and also because he's a good shot. Might not be nice to give the ball to Miller because he actually hasn't been so great early in this series.
He certainly hasn't been a counterpoint to Michael Jordan. In Game 2, he went 4 of 13, while MJ had 41 points.
He certainly hasn't been the 8 points in 9 seconds Reggie Miller. Through Game 2, there were no shooting streaks. He certainly hasn't been healthy. He sprained his ankle in Game 3, which is a misdirect. Miller had a great Game 3, scoring 28 points, 13 of which came in the fourth, on that sprained ankle to pull away from the Bulls, win by 2, and stave off falling behind 3-0 in this series. Give this man the ball. He has a history of playing well when injured. 2 years ago, Game 5, opening round series against Atlanta, Miller played with a barely healed fractured eye socket to score 29 points. It was overall a losing effort that time, but that's not the main takeaway here. So okay, here we go. It's definitely going to Miller for the previously stated reasons, right? Ignore his lack of production in the third and the fourth. Maybe too much is riding on this to trust that ankle. The next 2.9 seconds determine if this series is a battle tied at 2-2 or over with the Bulls up 3-1. In other words, have the Pacers re-entered the postseason scene as the team that can take down a dynasty? Or are the Bulls just too good, proving you can poke the beast, but he'll still eat you alive? Let's find out. Welcome to a moment in history.
Harper's on Miller. McKee gets it into Miller for the win. It's there! 4/10 of a second.
Reggie Miller, now watch him. He's going to come off one screen. Gives Michael a bump, and he lets it go. What a killer shot by Reggie Miller.
And let's just check, because this is Michael Jordan we're talking about.
Kukoc to Michael at the buzzer. It spins out. It spins out.
Thanks for watching, everyone, and thank you to all our Patreon subscribers. I wish I could read all your names aloud, but there just isn't time. So I'm just gonna randomly pick 3 people to shout out. Thank you, Hugh Jazz, IP Freely, and Seymour Butts. For Secret Base, I'm Clara Morris. Good night and good game. Wait a second.